obviously a good thing. People
3 to 5.
People people knew.
Like 3
people
to 5,
knew.
and then about the top of the stretch. Yeah, okay, 3 to 5.
And it was
Maple Leaf Mel we're talking about.
Yeah, first time starter for Jeremiah Engelhardt, August Dawn Stables, which is Coach Parcells. We had talked about him in the morning, but then you started hearing the whispers. Andy and Anthony were talking about there apparently had been louder whispers that we don't get, and he was down the road. And then you had the what was it, first time tag, Wayne Catalano won by 2 dozen.
Yeah.
You don't see that every day.
On a suspicious drop, but it turned out to be a winning move.
And what I didn't get was not counting steeplechasing and not counting races in the slop. Seth, I think it's like one of the 4 largest winning margins on a clear, fast racetrack at Saratoga. Remember, paid up subscriber won by about 30 I think it was the Chuvie a couple years ago in a short
Do you
field.
have the chart there? Did you get claimed?
That's an interesting question. He had to get claimed. I mean, let's see.
Because
what race is that? 2?
Race 2, correct. Drink the Wind.
Oh yeah, Tom Morley. So if we see him, there's Mike. I don't know if Mike is dialed in, but Dave Grenning posts a lot of times on Twitter. 27-way shake.
Yeah.
It had to be a shake for that. But Tom Morley got Drink the Wind, who officially won by 22 1/4. And I remember that horse was even money on the board, and as you said, 1 to 5 in the wager. We've had some more than a usual number 1 to 5 shots at this meet. 1 to 5 is a tough number to get to. I think we've had at least 5 runners at 1 to 5.
I've said the last couple of years, it seems to me that the betting public, when they get enamored with a horse, they get enamored with a horse more than seems
the
to
old
me,
days.
I'm not sure why, but
and people should point out. I mean, I think there's a Grand Canyon difference between 2 to 5, 3 to 5, and then 1 to 5. 1 to 5 is like off by itself. 1 to 10 is like once every 5-7 years you get a 1 to 10 shot. So. But an interesting day yesterday. As Seth pointed out, it's now time to raise the curtain on the second half of the meet, and we'll kick it off with the DePaula play of the day. Let's see.
When you think trucks, think DePaula.
Save this week. Drive Silverado, just $369 a month. Yes, $369 a month.
Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click. So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
We officially start the second half of the meet today, Thursday, and for the DePaula play of the day, we're going to wait for the nightcap. The 10th race is a mile on the turf. These are fillies and mares, state breds, New York breds long on the turf. We got actually scratched yesterday with Sonic Speed, so we jumped over to Mr. Kringle, who could not get the sleigh out of the starting gate and started poorly and pretty much was over from there. So we're still looking for this elusive first win. I want to go to, I'm going to hope it's reliable, Horacio De Paz, who does just a tremendous job. This is a Frost Giant filly. Can't Fool Me, and I want to make sure I got the right, because there's an entry. The 7, 12 to 1. Can't Fool Me, who has gotten better, first got better this year when moving to the grass after starting the career on the dirt. And even in the 2 races so far, 2 at Aqueduct, showed progression. Going to go a mile today, and it's got some sort of mid-range tactical speed, kind of stalk and go look. And I think she's a fit. Ricardo Santana is aboard, and 12 to 1 is the right price. Horacio De Paz to let us break through in the DePaula play of the day. Good luck second half of the meet, everybody.
When you think trucks, think DePaula.
Save this week and drive any new Chevy like Equinox with 0 down payment, 0 first payment, and 0 security.
Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click. So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the Handicappers Report. Steve Bick with the DePaula play of the day. One other thing I wanted to note, Seth, in the Maple Leaf Mel, who was obviously a really good thing, down the road winner, Phil Serpio, who's having a great meet, he sent out the first security code who was terrific. Mark Henning sent out a first. Well, he got beat by Security Code by 7 lengths, so he finished third by 12. My point is, especially Mark Henning, because he's like a 3% with firsters, and Phil has a small operation, Phil Serpy that is. They had horses ready to run yesterday, and especially Security Code, who was Phil Serpy's, perhaps a winning type of move. They just ran into a buzzsaw that was more advanced than them, and that's the type of thing that I like when I'm looking at statistics. Like, so Phil Serpy has another non-winning firster, but in my opinion, he had a firster ready to win. He just had the misfortune of running into Maple Leaf Mel.
Yeah.
So just something to, kick around there besides the two-dimensional hard, cold facts down there, where you can say, Phil's really hitting on a lot of cylinders. And Mark Henning, who we know is really through the course of his career, which is now 30 years plus on his own, that firsters doesn't seem to be what he's, got him cranked up. But he had a good one the other day, beat half the field. But so just something to think about a little bit beyond the cold stats in here. The opener today, 10 race card, 3-year-olds at Upstate Bred Maiden Claimers in for 40. Racing right outside our front window, 7/8.
5, 6, 4, and 3 for me. I put Salt Key on top. Goes out for Chad Brown. 3 starts so far. Pretty good start. Bookended by a couple that are maybe a little bit disappointing. Because of that, they drop in for the tag today. They get back to the dirt. The first 2 starts were on the dirt. And as I say, the start 2 back is kind of what I'm keying on. Now, it was over a sloppy sealed track. Was that the bonus? I'm going to hope all of that is mitigated by the class relief, and this horse just finds a winning spot in with this particular bunch. I'll tilt slightly in that direction. Catching Cupid in the second spot. Charlie Baker trainee dropped to this level last time, ran an okay third, adds blinkers today. I think is potentially a player in here. And then Patrick the Great going out for Gary Siaka off the claim. Dropped in for a tag last time and ran very well to just miss. Claim now moves up a little bit, but I still think is going to find this company to his liking. So I have a 5, 6, 4, and 3.
I'm starting to think that maybe we should televise the shakes for the claims.
That would be fun.
Because I think your top pick, Sol K, I think there'll be more than one claim for this runner. And we could, show the pills and show the folks in the middle of it
exciting.
how this goes about. Just a little more action for the folks. 4, 6, 2 for me. Patrick the Great is my top pick for Gary Siaka, who has that stakes victory. Well, this runner was claimed for $25,000, and I've said this before, Seth. I'd like to get a round table of like 5. I don't even think you need really more than one, but sometimes so Gary Siaka puts in the claim. Honestly, he's got to be rooting for the horse to lose. And the horse, the photo goes up and you have to be like, and I just wonder if they walk around going, does that make the claim so much harder? But he doesn't. He gets this condition to still run and he puts the claim in. It's got to be a huge sigh of relief. Because I would think if I was in the claiming game, the accounting angle of it is very important. And he still has this condition by a whisker, and he gets to run back against Irad Ortiz to retain the mount while horse changes barn. I'll take Patrick the Great on top for second. Catching Cupid, Charlie Baker's runner. Second time in for a tag, hit the board at this level. Most recently, they add blinkers today. And for third, also adding blinkers, number 2, Cold Walker. I did leave out Salt K. Obviously, it is the horse to beat in here, in for the tag for the first time. I've taken a lot in that, whether it was Brad Cox or Chad Brown, and it does seem as if, and Wayne Catalano yesterday, it does seem as if these horses that appear to me to have fire sale on them have done well at this meet. They haven't been bombs that you're like, oh, I should have known better with the
fire sale
sale.
up here is just a different animal, though.
I could see.
Stables want the win. We're getting into the second half of the year, where it's let's move in some new horses and get rid of the ones.
Yeah, it's
that
a good point.
aren't.
It
So,
probably does take on a little different angle than the rest of the circuit, let's say.
second race in Saratoga this afternoon. $32,000 claimers, 5.5 on the grass.
5-3-2 for me. Bay Jewel gets my top pick for Jimmy Farrar. First off, the claim earlier in the meet. Now this offspring on New Year's Day gets to the turf and sprinting, where this horse has had moderate to good success. For second, number 3, Olive Cat. Michael Gorham sends out this runner. 2 back, a good effort down at Delaware. And for third, number 2, Rob Atras, third time United States, 7-5 on the board. Sprints for the first time, though, has 2 North American races from the Brad Cox barn going a mile. Now dashes 5.5. I thought maybe the little chink in the armor there at a short price. 5-3-2.
I put the 2 on top, and you're absolutely right. Cuts back. I was maybe looking at it as a bonus, though, because sprinted all right over in Europe. So I'm going to hope that's a bonus added into the class relief, because the first 2 United States starts weren't much for Linka. So, again, the cutback here, plus, and maybe more importantly, the class relief. So I'll put that one on top. Bay Jewel in the second spot. Just look back at the turf races. Turf races seem good enough. So getting back on the turf this afternoon, I think, is a key to Bay Jewel being very playable at an interesting 6-1 price. And then in the third spot, we will look at Weekend Fun, the number 6 horse, at 8-1. Have to go back to find some numbers that are going to be competitive here. The last couple, not so much, but again, I think this horse has the potential to maybe rebound to a better effort. It's that kind of a race. You're kind of searching for just a little something to hang your hat on here, because no one is jumping off the page. But I have a 2, 5, 6, and 3.
On to the third. We have 3-year-olds up. Billy Zamarris in for 25. Non-runners 2 lifetime, racing a mile out of the Wilson Chute.
5, 4, 2, and 3. Dame Cinco on top. Hasn't been seen since April down at Keeneland. Went out for Cherie DeVoe and just missed for a 40 conditional tag. Now comes back for a 20 tag off a little bit of a layup. But you look at the workouts, and they seem to be okay. I think this horse is, going to be fit enough and ready enough. Luis Saez on board, and what we saw, particularly in that last race, probably good enough against this bunch. Second spot, Sweet Sensation. Excuse me. The Tommy Albatrani horse looked down the PPs, and the horse has been racing against better, other than the maiden break, which the horse was in for a tag that day. Other than that, has not been in for a tag. But the maiden breaker was clearly the best race on the resume. I think getting back in for the tag today, that's going to be very beneficial. I think, you look at the maiden breaker, that was on the dirt. The last 3 have been on the turf, so I don't think the dirt is going to be an obstacle. But I think the class move is really key here. And that 6-1 to me looks very generous given this scenario. Preposterous in the third spot, comes off a claim last time, moves up a little bit. I like the confident move up off the claim, which was a decent effort here earlier in the meet. So should be a player as well. Javier Castellano on board. We continue to say having a very good Saratoga. In the third, 5, 4, 2, and 3.
5-2-1 for me. I agree. The 5-0's only had 1 start since late November. Seth mentioned the losing favorite down at Keeneland, some time off. Luis Saez sticks with the mount here for second. Preposterous, first off the claim for a sharp trainer who is about one of the few going better than Phil Serpy percentage-wise at this meet. And for third, we've already Belarus for Horacio De Paz, who is a very sharp trainer. Takes on winners for the first time after breaking the maiden on the dirt down at Belmont Park, sprinting 6 furlongs. Goes beyond 6 for the first time. Down inside, it's going to probably drop back a little bit. 5-2-1 in the third. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, more live from the backstretch of Saratoga.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops.
My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes.
In front, but here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Bob. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a three-horse photo finish in the turn. Here's the winner. Photo finish.
Having trouble finding us? It's actually quite simple. Whether online or on your TV, it's never been easier to watch and wager on championship horse racing with Capital OTB. Simply log on to capitalotbbet.com. There you can watch our morning shows, live stream races, and wager on our state-of-the-art wagering platform. You can also watch from the comfort of your home on Spectrum Cable Channel 1250 or Fios Channel 467, and win more with Capital OTB.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report on this Thursday morning. Seth, Merrow, and Anthony Mormino. Time now for the Dark Horse Play of the Day, brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile in downtown Saratoga. The smart bet is always the Dark Horse. Dark Horse Play of the Day for me today goes to race number 5. State bred maiden 40 claimers going a mile and 16 on the grass. I'm going to go with my Dark Horse play for on Palm Sunday, the number 9 horse. Dave Donk having a really good Saratoga meet. And this horse in the Saratoga debut was in an off-the-turfer. Didn't offer a whole lot that day, but the 2 turf races before, I think, fit snugly with this group. But off of that last race, I think people may look, and the form gets darkened a little bit, so that 6-1 may hold up, may even go up a tick or two. This is one I think could go either way, a tick or two. I'll hope we go up a little bit from the 6-1, but I think the 6-1 is fine. Jose Ortiz on board. But again, that race 2 back on the turf showed some speed and wound up a decent little second as the beaten favorite against a similar bunch to this. I'll look for this race to be kind of the next, actually, after that, because now we're back on the turf. So this will be the 3rd turf start off a good turf start 2 back. So we'll look for a rebound at a decent little price. The Dark Horse Play of the Day for Thursday. Race number 5 at Saratoga. Horse number 9 on Palm Sunday. Don't forget Dark Horse, 445 Broadway in downtown Saratoga. Their sister store, Impressions, right up the street. If you're downtown, swing by. Tell them you saw them. Tell them you saw the info here on OTB TV. All right, let's go to race number 4 this afternoon. State-bred optional claimers, non-winners of 2 other than a mile on the grass.
And for me, and how I value it, it needs to be pointed out, they dropped the rails yesterday on the inner, so we're running on the hedge on the inner for the first time at the meet, either course, and I've said this before, I expect the rails to be dropped on the main on, in California they do it often, and here we used to kind of do it at the beginning of the week like they did yesterday. But off the top of my head, and I'll check my notes later tonight, on the main, I think they've dropped them on Travers Eve when we run that New York day. They don't even do it on Wednesday of Travers Week. So I'm expecting the rails to be up at on the Mellon Turf course for a little while longer. And also I think you saw at times that, to me, on a firm turf course, you had the New York State Breds go 37 and change for the mile, and you had 44 and change for restricted claimers. So my opinion is that the teletimer is more believable when there are no temporary rails up in New York. Obviously, you're free to have a completely different opinion and trust the teletimer all the time. Godspeed to you. 7, 2, and 3, straw into gold. Seth and I land on the same horse. Christophe Clement's runner. One start since the Ides of May. A 5th place finish at 3-1 on day 2 of this meet. I think off of that effort with Joel Rosario, we move forward today, same level. For second, number 2, Barrage. Ray Handel, his horse been very sharp of late. Big price coming out of the same race as my top pick. won't be anywhere near that price today. And for third, number 3, Ruse for Tim Hills. Horse was up front early, faded a little bit. 7-2-3 in the fourth.
I'm right in the same ballpark. 7-2, 1 and 3 for me. Strong to gold. Going out for Christophe Clement. Nice race 2 back, came up to Saratoga. Yeah, disappointed a little bit running 5th, but it was a pretty good effort, number-wise, and it wasn't that far off of it. Barrage in the 2nd spot for Ray Handel, just seems to be in good form, and last time tossed in a pretty good effort, in fact, finishing in front of the top pick, so should be right in the thick of things again today. And Michael Dubb has Ghost Giant with Rob Atras coming off a 4th place finish in between the top 2 last time. So we'll see. These horses were right in the mix back on July 15th. I think they're all going to be right in the mix again today. I'm juggling them up. A lot of times we get too smart and try that, and it doesn't work out, but we'll see. And once again, I do not have the Mike Deeney horse in the mix. And
you will
if
pay
that
that
gets
price.
done at 20-1, but I'll toss that out there. I'll probably have a couple of bucks just to back myself up from insanity, because I always do like the Mike Deeney horses. But in the fourth, 7-2, 1 and 3.
Of all, generally speaking, I don't believe in anything like watching from the same television monitor or anything. But I what you just said is, I use that line like for your sanity to bet horses. To keep your sanity, like they can't win. I don't have the same thought, but I've said this before about my trifecta plays. If my horse that is the key to the race is 6-1 or more, I always make a win bet, because I can't have a $14 winner while I'm trying to chase the brass ring, let it go by. And people say, well, why the 6-1? I said, well, because generally speaking, it will cover 60 to 80% of my exotic play. So I'm getting rewarded by having a $6 winner by only losing 20% on my money. Now, tying that in also, yesterday when we were doing the show, I talked about Remote, who I didn't like on opening day, and then come back and was 6-1 in the morning line. I'm like, well, he's interesting to me. They bet him down to 3-1, made him uninteresting, and he ran poorly. And my sisters always look at me like I'm from Mars when I start talking like that. I'm like, he just wasn't attractive at 3-1. I've seen that show before, but at 6-1, I had said yesterday when you did the race, he intrigues me at a big price, but he doesn't intrigue me at that short price. State Breds.
Tom Mamolo used to call it the 2x4 horse. You want to bet it because if you miss it, you want to hit yourself in the head with the 2x4.
Okay, yeah. I mean that's I go for that, you know. 5th race on the card, State Breds. 3 rolls it up, maiden claimers in for 40. Miles 16th on the Mellon turf course with the rails at 27.
10, 9, 7, and 6. The 11, Uragano, is the first on the AE list. I could make an argument for taking a look there as well. I have to admit, I'm not thrilled with the post positions on my horses. Mr. Connecticut is up against it, leaving from the outside post position. But going maiden special weight to maiden claiming, I think he's going to have the little bit of an edge in here. And so I didn't want to let the post position, again, I don't want to be sitting on the sidelines with the 2x4 when this one wins, and I was stubborn with the post position, but it is going to be an obstacle. Same with my dark horse play, the 9 on Palm Sunday, leaving from the next to the outside post position. But again, I think getting back to the turf and Dave Donk doing well, that one's interesting. Sense of Giant goes out for Todd Pletcher off a debut that it wasn't a whole lot, but I think this one is very, very eligible to move forward. Irad Ortiz hops on board. That's also attractive. So, again, I'm kind of stuck outside, and I will admit that's an obstacle. So if you're taking another tack, I'm not going to argue too much. But I have it 10, 9, 7, and 6.
I would almost be rooting for Mr. Connecticut just to see the winner's circle interview after the race. Let's make sure they're all there for the interview. I'm 1, 9, 10. I have the 7 in this mix also, but I agree with you, Seth. It's just, if I can get an edge on price and I get an edge on post position draw, I'm taking the Sleepy Chipmunk for Chad Summers. Luis Saez gets them out now. This runner it was down at Belmont, mile 16th, which is kind of like a turn and a half at Belmont on the outside in a field of 12. Now we draw the hedge with Luis Saez in the saddle. It's just enough for me to turn the tables. This horse was 20-1 in the most recent effort, gets the big jockey switch to Luis Saez. I'm taking number 1, the Sleepy Chipmunk on top. On Palm Sunday, at 6-1 for the Patricia Generazzo Silks, who I always love, easy to follow, pink and green. The Offspring of Summerfront, to me, is the horse to beat. The other 6-1 shot. And then Mr. Connecticut, first time in for a tag, 8-5 with Joel Rosario. Overcomes the post. You know, he's got a big chance, but I think he's going to have to use early position energy. And obviously with Joel Rosario, I'm guessing he would try and get a breather somewhere in there. 1, 9, 10 in the 5th.
Race number 6 on Thursday afternoon. State-bred maiden specials. These are 2-year-olds. They will go 3/4 of a mile.
And, yeah, if there are whispers out there, I don't hear them. I'm 9, 4, 5 in here, and Mama's Gold gets my top pick. Mike Maker, who's having a terrific meet. Yes, the vast majority have been on the turf, but this is an offspring of... You're going to have them in the mix when they put the chicklets up? Did you let the offspring of Bolt Dioro go?
I put it down the 4th spot, so it won't be on the chiclet, but it's in my mix.
A couple solid workouts for the debut. Javier Castellano in the saddle for second. Curly, Larry, and Mo, the Three Stooges fan, makes a second career start. The 19-1 is gone. And for third, Blame It on Daddy, a firster for Blame, Tom Albatrani, 9, 4, 5.
I'm 6-8-4-9. Donegal surges on top. Candy Ride, a good sire, first-time runners. So far, 49 debut runners this year. Excuse me, only 3 wins, but 8 seconds, 7 thirds. So 18 in the money out of 49 first-time starters. Dan produced a sibling called Surge of Pride that won its debut right here at Saratoga a couple of years back, 2018, going 5.5 on the turf. But again, shows some win early sprinting. It's Todd Pletcher, Jose Ortiz on board. I'll put Donegal Surges on top. Second slot, Impressor, goes out for Steve Asmussen. Worked 10.0, 10 flat, before attracting over $300,000 at Ocala April. A couple of siblings won in their second career start. Flying Finish and Cold Gone Hot, both won in their second career start. So again, I thought there was win early here from a win early conditioner, solid work before the sale. Curly, Larry, and Mo, experience counts, okay, second. Yeah, Mama's Gold by Bolt Dioro. I debated on that one, particularly with the bullet work. I was gonna, but I just thought the others were a little more intriguing. I have it 6, 8, 4, and 9.
All right, we'll take our next break. When we come back, the late pick 4.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse.
Hello everyone, I'm Scott Vartley and I'm here at the West Condominiums in Saratoga Springs. And guess what? We are down to the home stretch. Everything is 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Come make a selection of one of the greatest condos ever to be built in Saratoga Springs. We're starting in the upper 5s and the only rooftop penthouse available now under construction. Wow, just look at this patio. We have a rooftop pool, heated garage, balconies, and a gym. Call me at 518-281-6808.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course alongside Seth and I'm Anthony Mormino. I probably said it, Seth, 20 of the 21 days. Yesterday might have been the first time I didn't say it, but boy, it is beautiful out here right now. I'm like, let's run the races now. But the 7th race on the card, mile and 8th, claimers in for $40,000. Right?
I thought you didn't seem to end with the sentence. End with the
Oh,
period there.
okay. I thought. Well, one thing you probably that's a very good pickup here. I was gonna say I did have a thought. Was, it's almost rare now that we have a vanilla claimer, which is what we grew up with. No restrictions at all besides the money, and it doesn't happen very often anymore. And I was just like,
they're far more unusual than.
Well, here it is.
Claimer. Yeah.
Just something I saw 6 or 7 times a day in New York. Maybe not as much in Saratoga, but in New York all the time.
Yeah, no question about it. It's far more infrequent than the conditional claimers now. Race number 7 for me, 8, 1, 5, and 4. I'll put Winter Pool on top. We had Marshall Graham on the other day. He's a clever owner, and when he's involved in claiming horses like that and off the claim, I always pay a little extra attention, and this one claimed early in June down at Churchill by Marshall Graham and Company, 10 Strike Racing. Norm Cassie now picks up the horse, had been claimed away from Peter Brandt Company and Chad Brown. There are some back races that are easily good enough. Now, the race the horse was claimed out of and the race just before that are not two of the better races, but maybe a little time off and off the claim and with a pretty good workout coming into this, we rebound to a better performance. Up a Winter Pool on top. Air Attack in the second spot for Rob Atras, coming off a very good try last time. It was a voided claim. Again, we don't really know what the situation was, but comes back at the same level here, and off of that last one, I could not ignore this horse. However, there is that question mark hovering over it. Truculent in the third spot goes out for Mike Maker off the claim. So all three of mine had claim situations, although one was voided last time. But this one, again, has some back performances that are very good. Has some nice early positional speed. Typically, I think this horse will be a serious player as well. For me, 8, 1, 5, and 4, and kind of a puzzle of a race.
It's intriguing to me because when you see the scratches listed on the Equibase, not a long explanation, but sometimes it says off the turf or stewards or vet. I mean, it's a little something, and I have not investigated it enough, but I might be inclined to now. I'm wondering if on the NYRA.com site there's a gathering place for the voids, whether it's clerical or something else, because I think of the many things that we talk about being added for information, that would be way high on the list of easily accessible public information, or why the void was. Doesn't have to be War and Peace, but just, simple clerical, monetary, whatever it might be, health, whatever. But that would be very high on the list, that public, I think the buzzword for the last 50 years has been transparency to the bettors. I'm 4, 5, 6. I have Clayton the Lionheart, and I have Kershaw, whose first name is Clayton, for those who don't follow baseball. But first off the claim for $20,000. Lost that time at Saratoga on opening day to the meet opener. Remember, for a while there, that was the lone dirt win for Mike Maker. For second, I'll mention it once again because he doesn't run that often, but my favorite thing about the word truculent, Ali and Cosell, I don't know what it means, but if it's good, I'm that too. And for third, number 6, Clayton the Lion-Hearted. Phil Bauer, who's having a terrific meet, runs this horse for the third time this year. Angle that I like very much. Third start of career, third start for the season. 4, 5, 6.
And I will say, just because I think during Saratoga we have viewers who may be newer to the game.
Yes, I think that's...
When we're talking about voided claims, it could be the horse got back to the barn and had a physical issue that voided the claim. It could just be the paperwork was funny. They're two very different things. All of that said, I'm fully in favor of the change in the rules that allow for voided claims.
Yes.
I think it just makes the game overall
yes.
better.
Absolutely.
You can't kind of just dump
protects
a horse
the buyer.
now and protects the horses and the buyers. So I think it's a great rule, but just on the betting side.
Yeah, we like the waiver claimer too. We like that for the horseman.
Absolutely.
That's one that protects the horseman that has the horse.
Because
gives them
that
a
was
chance.
Just totally unfair. You could,
put all that
you
work
want to
into
do right
them.
by the horse and give it some time up, but then you're spending a lot of money on the horse, and then you know, to be competitive, you bring it back at the right level, and somebody gets the benefit from
All your work,
or your
time,
work and
money, energy.
So yeah, you're right. That was a good move as well. All right, the 8th race at Saratoga. Starter allowance 7 furlongs. The track.
Area code 518 for me, Bella Principessa. I know it's 6-1 in the morning line, but she's one of my favorite horses of the day. Tried 3 consecutive turf races, gets back to the dirt for Bob Placeres. You go back to the 1-turn mile race at Aqueduct, which I think somewhat similar to the 1-turn 7/8 here. Last time it ran 7 furlongs, it won. Now there was moisture in the racetrack. Daily Racing Form listed as muddy. That was a restricted claimer. This is starter allowance, but Bella Principessa with Joel Rosario as my top pick for second. Drawing the rail, Echo Foxtrot. 2 for 2. 1 on debut for a tag, 1 on a waiver claimer. Talking about that, you know, you're coming off of, you know, almost an 8-month layoff, and you want to, you know, legitimately protect the people. And this horse won easily. Now comes in this spot with Trevor McCarthy and his 7-2 in the morning line. And Seth, you talk often about the power of buyer speed figures. I think 7-2 might look attractive to people when the wagering is done on this runner. Even breaking for the rail, going 7/8. Now, I think it was a 5-horse field yesterday. It used to be under the breath muddled about, you know, going 7/8 from the 1 post position was death almost. Yeah, field of 12, I might not like it, but for third, number 8, maybe later for Linda Rice, second off the $50,000 claim, 5-1-8.
I put maybe later on top, but again, another race today that is a little bit of a puzzle. 8, 2, 1, and 3, maybe later. Turf to dirt move, a cutback, second off the claim. I think there are races down the page that are good enough, and I hope with the change-ups we can maybe rebound to one of those better efforts. Irod Ortiz on board also attracted my attention, so I went in that direction. HT Zena in the second spot. Off the race last time down at Churchill, certainly has to be considered, was claimed out of that. I like the fact that, you know, they come up here and then move into this starter allowance. They show a little bit of confidence off of that claim, and again, it was a good enough race to think that if we get back to that, this horse is very competitive in here. And yeah, Echo Foxtrot, I debated. I had this horse up a little higher and moved it down, but the seasonal debut was at Delaware over a sloppy track, so I'm not sure what to make of that number, but I can't ignore the 2 for 2 so far and the seasonal debut win. So certainly, you know, at the 7-2, or if this one ticks up a little bit, if people are a little concerned like me, the horse is absolutely worth a serious look in the 8, 8, 2, 1. And
now there's an angle where I would like to have about 10 trainers. It would be all in the QT, talking about some horses that they debut in maiden claimers that turn out to have some. Did you not know, or were you trying to slide through? It'd all be anonymous, and then just get all the slips of paper together and see if it's 70% didn't know and 30% was trying to slide one through, or what it was like when you lost one that you were trying to slide through, and things like that.
You would have to think the percentages would be more of I didn't know.
I would think so
because
too.
That's a huge roll of the dice otherwise. But I think it does happen. There's no question.
You know, I try to think of some of the. She wasn't claimed out of it, but Blind Luck was a maiden claimer debut winner. And I think this one I'm not positive about, but wait to hear this name. I can look it up on Equus. I think Extra Heat might have debuted where you could have picked her off. I'm going to look it up when we go to our next break. But I think that might be true.
That wouldn't shock me, though. I mean, she was, you know, Maryland, you know, Middle-Atlantic.
No, listen. It's
and was floating around kind of restricted stakes for a while, if I'm not mistaken, or smaller stakes before she finally stepped it up.
But you're just like, when it's all said and done, and you look back on it, you just go, "Oh my goodness, I could have lost her for 20."
Yeah,
but
we dodged a bullet.
Blind Luck was sold after she wasn't claimed out of the race. Maiden claimer, debut at Laurel. She wins and goes on a huge winning streak, and she was in for 25 Extra Heat. Imagine that. On to the 9th. 3-year-old fillies. The Galway, 5.5 on the turf.
And it is the Galway. I heard somebody on national television.
Don't say,
yesterday
they say Galway.
Galway.
Well, that's across the sea.
Galway, yeah, you are not a local. Or Albany. That's a good one, too. That you know.
I'll give you one because you love college basketball, even though it's through the Syracuse angle. A couple years ago, Siena was playing at Kansas. Ludenville. But, you know, you don't know. Listen, we don't know horses' names. You got to hear it. Even sometimes I hear it, I get it wrong. But, you know.
Yeah, I've never heard that one.
You figure you grab somebody from the team and go, how do you pronounce where you're from? Loudonville. No, Ludenville.
For me, in the 9th, the Galway, I have it 7, 1, 6, and 10. I think the 4, Have a Good Day, is also intriguing at 10 to 1. Has a couple of group
I would have bet a
over in Europe.
6-pack of Pepsi. You had the 7 on top.
Oh, yeah. It's
a given. It's not like I could know your handicap. It's a given.
I got the business
Yeah.
on Sunday for like
From whom?
Augustin, from everybody who was sitting here, the Batiste
Oh,
brothers.
those guys. Not me. That's the first time I got you. I let you pick like 7 of them before I called you out on it.
I mentioned Augustin and Shepard, and they immediately jump on me. But yeah, I love the Augustin runners up here going back to the Shepard days. And I know Tom Bellhouse, if he's watching, is now laughing because
Yes.
he got me after the show as well on Sunday. But yeah, I do have the 7 on top.
Yeah.
Empress Tiger, you know, and
Which
logical,
fits
2 for 2 so
Yeah.
far. Maiden Breaker, and then want to stake up here to begin the meet. So there's a whole lot to like so far. We'll look for this one to continue on. Bill Mott trains Poppy Flower, coming out of a second place finish behind Empress Tigress last time. So I'm going to look for a repeat exacta in here. And then Christophe Clement's runner Breeze Easy.
Easy for you.
Came over from Europe and had a couple of decent starts so far. I think is an interesting player in here. Does cut back. That's a little bit of a concern, but I think is going to fit okay with this bunch. Dairy Nane on the outside, I think, could also be an interesting player. Ran 3rd behind the top 2 in that Coronation Cup earlier in the meet. It's a kind of a fun field in here, but I'll go for Empress Tigress to continue on the win streak. 7, 1, 6, and 10.
And my exacta, Seth's exacta were reversed, but comes out of the Coronation Cup race, which I think was the first turf sprint stakes race we ever had here. Once they started doing it a couple of years ago, and I think the first stake they gave turf sprinters was the Coronation Cup.
I would have said the Troy, but...
The Troy? The first year they ran the Troy, I think I'm right about this, they ran it at a mile.
Oh, okay.
I think, but only one edition. I think starting with the second edition, you're right, it was one of the early turf sprint stakes races, and it's graded now, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
but
well, at the time,
I think the first year it went at a mile.
Didn't Detroit, didn't Linda Rice run 1, 2, 3 one year? Well, maybe even 1, 2, 3, 4.
That could be good.
Yeah.
Probably the year she won the title when we inaugurated turf sprinting here.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just reverse it 1, 7, 3, and more or less really the price angle. I mean, they ran 1, 2 in Seth's order in the Coronation Cup, but I'm just inside today, getting maybe 2 or 3 times the price, and I think they're both right there. John Velasquez versus Jose Ortiz. So I have Poppy Flower for Bill Mott on top. Empress Tigress trying to make it 3 for 3 in the career, and for 3rd, number 3, Jonathan Thomas sends out this runner trying to make it 3 in a row. Did win a turf sprint down at Monmouth on July 16th. So it was at Monmouth, but that was the first Saturday of our meet up here. So 1, 7, 3 in the Galway. All right, take a quick break. When we come back, the finale. Extra heat.
No matter where in the world you are, the excitement of wagering on horse racing is just a click away. You'll get live streaming, past performances, race replays, our virtual tote board, analysis and selections from professional handicappers, a simple, safe, and secure wagering platform, and best of all, you get track prices. CapitalOTBBet.com. Bet any place, anytime at CapitalOTBBet.com. And be sure to download our new mobile app from the iTunes Store or Google Play.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player, to have a better knowledge of the game, to be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
All right, about 6:15 this evening, this Thursday evening, we will kick off the finale today. Race number 10, your get-out race. If you're looking to make some money after a long day, or you're looking to add to your bankroll after a long day, you will look at a full field of state-bred maiden special fillies and mares going a mile on the grass.
Full field being 12, 2, 9, and 12 from the hedge. Nice to say. Let Me Drink, second time starter for Bruce Levine, debuted at 40-1 in a sprint. Practice, Castellano takes the mount back with his offspring of Mission Impossible for second. Also a second time starter, Bill Mott's number 9, Chakosity, debuted at Saratoga on July 16th, the first Saturday. Just a little late run, kind of like galloping around. We'll take the improvement in the second start. And for third on the far outside, the 1A is an AE Saratoga Chrome for Michelle Nevin. 8th career start, 2, 9, 12 in Thursday's finale.
I have it 9, 5, 11, and 1A. I put the 12 down in the bottom spot because, again, I got down there and I thought I could juggle these up a little bit. I do want to mention our colleague Steve Bick. His play of the day is number 7. Can't fool me. But I put Chakosity on top. Bill Mott runner, I think, is eligible to improve in the second career start. The first start is one of those. It looks like a good foundation to move forward from. Second slot, La Victoria for Todd Pletcher. Just seems to be firing in a fashion that matches up nicely with this group. Doing that last year, however, and we've talked about that a number of times this season, you get a lightly raced horse like this comes back, they can often come back improved, and that will make La Victoria very dangerous. Succulent in the third spot at 10-1. Off the last effort, the Dave Donk runner is interesting. Should be heard from in the lane, and I think that fourth place finish right here in the latest again bodes well. In the 10th and final, 9, 5, 11, and the 1A.
All right, another beautiful Thursday at Saratoga. We're going to turn to John DeSilva and his thoughts on Del Mar.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.